Good day, and welcome once again to our lesson for today, our science lesson, and our strand 5 on human and environment. Human and his environment. Our substrand 1 for today is personal hygiene and sanitation. Personal hygiene and sanitation. First of all, we will define what environment is. And by the end of the lesson, you should be able to identify ways of keeping the environment clean and then practicing a hygienic lifestyle. First of all, we will ask ourselves, what is environment? The environment simply refers to everything around us. In our homes, in our school, we may have different kinds of environment. So simply, the environment is made up of everything around us. Let's look at the components of our school environment, for example. For the school environment, you know very well your school compound and all the things around you, your school, based on your school's location, tells about your school's environment. We have both clean environments and dirty environments. Again, we can describe our home environment. Look at where you live. How does the environment look like? All the things around you. Is it a clean place or a dirty place? Your environment speaks more about you, whether you are clean or dirty. Let's talk about one most important thing that we have to consider when thinking about our environment. You have all heard of germs before. Yes. For every clean environment, you will never find germs around. But for dirty environments, there is always the presence of germs. Can you see germs? No. Germs are described as microorganisms, meaning they are small and tiny things we cannot see with our eyes unless we use a microscope. We will talk more about germs in our next substrand. Let's see what germs do. Germs live in dirty environments. Any unclean or dirty place is a home for germs. These micro or small organisms live in dirty environments. Imagine your room is dirty. What will happen? You may be living with germs. Imagine the school environment is unclean. That means the school environment will be full of germs. And we know very well that germs causes many diseases. Most of the diseases are actually caused by these germs. In other words, when you live in an unclean environment or in a dirty environment, you are always going to fall sick because of these germs causing diseases. Sicknesses that are caused by diseases. Let's look at some of these sicknesses. The commonest one is what we call cholera. I hope you all know what cholera is. Signs of cholera. Whenever you take in any dirty thing, any filthy thing, you are almost going to fall sick. But when you fall sick, remember, either you may feel very cold always, or you may always be vomiting. Cholera, diarrhea, malaria, all these are examples of what sicknesses. Diarrhea is also another example. As I've said already, malaria is also another example of diseases caused by germs and living in dirty environments, to be precise. Now, there may be other sicknesses or diseases you may get as a result of living in dirty environments like typhoid fever and many others. Now let's limit ourselves to these ones. And now let's see the ways of keeping the environment clean. Ways of keeping the environment clean. What are some of the ways we can actually use to keep our environment clean? Imagine you don't sweep your environment, your immediate room or your surroundings. The place will be full of dirt. And obviously, germs will dwell there and cause diseases. Malaria will easily spread when mosquitoes are living closer to you. So the first point to consider is by sweeping. We need to sweep our environment. Whenever we sweep our environment, we are avoiding sicknesses. So sweeping is one of the ways of keeping our environment clean. Do you sweep your rooms? It is very important to sweep. The next way to keep our environment clean after sweeping is to make sure you dust off the surfaces. Dusting. You must dust off all surfaces to avoid particles of dust, which will cause dirty environment. Whenever your tables are dusty, you need to dust it off to avoid any of these kinds of germs. The next point after dusting your place is to make sure you also mop. Use the mop. Try as much as possible to mop the floor. Mopping is another way of keeping your environment clean. When you mop, you are avoiding dirt and dust around you. And germs will never be happy to stay with you. Look at this one too. When you go to the bathhouse, the most important thing is to make sure that the surroundings where you take your bath is clean. And the best way is to make sure you scrub. Scrubbing is also another way of keeping the environment clean. You scrub the floor, you scrub the tiles. You make sure the walls are clean. It's a nice way of keeping your environment healthy. Another way is to make sure that whenever you are in your rooms, in your bedrooms, you check the corners and the ceiling where there are cobwebs. Make sure you remove the cobwebs. Removal of cobwebs are also a sure way of keeping the environment clean. So you have to remove all cobwebs. Anywhere there are spiders, it is likely there may be cobwebs. Another way of keeping the environment clean is to make sure that you use the hoover on the woolen carpet at your hall or at corners where your broom cannot sweep. Anywhere you know that the broom cannot reach while sweeping daddy's hall or in your bedroom, under the bed, try as much as possible to use the hoover to clear all those dust particles from those places and corners to avoid dirty environments. And the last but not the least is to make sure that you always live in a clean, not a bushy environment, a clean environment by weeding. By weeding. You have to make sure your compound or the area around your household is kept clean. You weed the place, and aside that, you also must clear the gutters. You must also clear all gutters. Remember, mosquitoes breed in gutters, choked gutters, or bushes around you. It's a nice place for mosquitoes to breed, and they will come and bite you, giving you malaria. So the best way is to make sure you sweep your environment, you dust off the surfaces, you do your mopping regularly, you do your scrubbing, try as much as possible to remove cobwebs, and then you make sure that you use the hoover to clear all those places you cannot reach with your broom, and then the woolen carpet, and also do your weeding and clearing of the carpet, of the bushes around you. Then that's a nice way and a sure way of avoiding dirty or unhygienic environment. For now, I will let you try your hands on the exercise I've provided for you as you practice these things on a daily basis. Till we meet for our next lesson, I will say, stay safe. Bye-bye.